Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's Friday call. Today, we're going to be talking about how to change your identity from fear, worry, and anxiety to love, joy, and peace. I want to welcome everyone. This is Marcia Martin, the Heart Healer. And as we move into this new year, let's really commit to letting go of that which doesn't serve us. The worry, the anxiety, and the fear that hasn't led us where we wanted to go in this previous year. So let's commit right now. Our New Year's resolution will be to finding more love, joy, and peace in our lives. And now let's check in with my guides, our energetic helpers, and find out how they suggest that we go about doing this. It can seem like an overwhelming job, too difficult to even wrap our minds around. So, they begin. Our dearest hearts, we see how hard each one of you is working to try to stay in balance, how much you're yearning for the way of peace, and how difficult it has become for so many of you to simply let go of past conditioning and trust. Therefore, we want to offer this simple practice. Stop trying. Instead of forcing yourself to feel good as you push away the feelings of anger and betrayal that are surfacing, it's time to delve deep, to look inside the heart where you've stored these beliefs that have fed your belief system until it became your own truth. Now let's look at that statement for just a moment. When something is true to you, it becomes your own truth. It doesn't mean that it's a universal truth. It just means that you believe it to be true. Therefore, it's true for you, whether it has no basis in reality or whether it's completely founded in spiritual principles. When you approach the heart, even one that has been badly traumatized and has become hardened, you will always be approaching an area of great tenderness. You cannot come with a big club, intending to beat the fear out of yourself and expect to be successful. No, you must approach softly and offer no judgment about what you may encounter. You must remember that when you encountered this personal reality that became your belief system, you were in a different place in your knowledge and understanding of the spiritual realm. And this is so, so important. You cannot judge where you are today and look at where you were yesterday and feel badly that you made bad decisions 10 years ago, 5 years ago, even yesterday. If you've progressed, you should be jumping up and saying, "Hallelujah, I'm so proud of myself. Look what I've accomplished." Not, "Oh, look how foolish I was for making that decision when I didn't know any better." Remember, you would not have felt safe, loved, or cared for by the Creator because you did not know the Creator intimately, and that which is unknown is often feared. Keep this in mind as you tread carefully forward and do not react with anger at what you have stored in your heart to protect you from what you perceived to be a threat. Go forth slowly. You are not on a mission to destroy your previously held belief systems, but rather to uncover and understand what prompted you to create them. It is most necessary that you show yourself compassion during this foray into the heart. There will be much stored that speaks of rejection and sorrow, of all that you cannot do and will never be. When you find these areas, do not immediately try to eradicate them. However, it is also not wise to engage fully with these belief systems. Remember, you created them for your own protection. If you now begin identifying with them completely, you'll lose your objectivity and be unable to free yourself from the trauma that is stored within. Instead, You must remain the objective outsider, the one looking in and not the one to whom these events occurred. That is so important. When you are trying to do work in the heart, you cannot associate with the beliefs and enter into the, oh, poor me, look at all these bad things that happened to me. You've got to stay the observer, the one looking in, the one that is doing the work to say, oh, let me see what's here, so that I can look at it, see that if it no longer serves me, and then do something about releasing it. Now, when you arrive at the heart, it's time to locate the most active wound. Don't try to fix everything at once. First, it will not be effective. And second, you cannot apply the same fix to all effective areas. What we ask that you do instead is to find the area that is causing you the most pain or anxiety and work on that area until you feel as though it has loosened its hold and you can breathe more easily. One area at a time. Don't rush. You're not in a race. There is no time bomb that's going to go off if you don't get it all done today. You won't get it all done today. You're embarking on a healing journey. To accomplish the letting go process effectively, you must be a detective. The heart area you are concerned with has left clues about its origin, the belief that is allowing it to stay active, and the reward you are gaining by allowing this limiting belief to remain truthful to you. That is very important to understand. You are gaining something by allowing this limiting belief to remain truthful to you. If you weren't gaining anything from it, if it wasn't serving you in some way or fueling a limiting belief system, you would have let go of it. So you must look at why you're allowing it to stay. Remember, this is not the time to express anger or disgust with yourself. You're simply observing the pain point so you can lovingly release it. Everything done in the realm of the heart must be done with love. Anything you want to change must be respectfully acknowledged and not ridiculed for its participation in your energetic field. Again, so important. Don't go into the heart with that big club. Don't think you're going to beat yourself, this belief, out of your energetic field. You need to acknowledge that it's there. Understand why you created it. What trauma happened that allowed this belief to spring up? What limiting beliefs were you fed as a child that made this seem normal? Or how did you fall into this negative way of thinking that just has perpetuated until this day? Therefore, you want to approach with love when you begin examining the inner workings of any troubled area. Leave your critical self behind and allow your grateful self to emerge. The more you express gratitude for the efforts you made on your own behalf, the more easily you'll be able to permanently let go of the belief system that is no longer serving you, and the more you'll be able to successfully adopt a set of beliefs that more fully reflect your authentic self. Remember, you created this pain point, this set of limiting beliefs, because you thought they would keep you safe. You were protecting yourself from something that happened in the past, or you had adopted a limiting belief that you believed was going to keep you safe. You didn't know your authentic self. You were not comfortable or familiar or friendly with your authentic self. So what you did was grab onto a set of beliefs that you thought were going to serve you. Be grateful that you created a set of beliefs that would allow you to move forward. Remember that none of this work will be accomplished overnight. So do not label yourself a failure if you find yourself needing to address each issue more than once. Expect that you will have to repeat your new way of believing until you can claim ownership, which does not usually happen for 21 days. Therefore, you must participate actively in moving your belief system from where you are to where you want it to be. Right now, in the beginning, the belief system you've been practicing for however many years, and all of you on this call are adults, so you've been practicing it for at least 20 years, much longer in some cases, that's going to be a much stronger pattern than the new belief that you're trying to instill. So this is not a time to wait passively as you wallow in the misery of anxiety and hope that you will magically become joyful soon. No, this is a time of deliberate action. Your thoughts and your feelings will not automatically turn from dark and dreary to roses and sunshine unless you start creating that routine for yourself. Thoughts and feelings mirror the thought and feeling that preceded it. Unless you do something to change the pattern, it will repeat endlessly. This is why once you achieve the vibrational harmony of love, joy, and peace, it will be easier to maintain, even though you may have found it challenging to attain that state in the first place. Once you're in that place of love, joy, and peace, you'll be thinking more thoughts that are loving and joyful and peaceful in nature. And they will begin attracting additional thoughts that are loving and joyful. And it will seem more natural to think in a roses and sunshine kind of way as opposed to the dark and dreary way that you were practicing before. Because like attracts like, and one thought follows another unless something comes forward to disrupt it. So you must be the disruptive force in your own life if you want to break the worry and anxiety cycle. Do not wait for others to do it for you or rely on medication to cover over the underlying problem. Instead, approach the heart gently but with determination and set about freeing yourself from that which no longer serves you. When you discover a belief that no longer rings true to you and you have uncovered its reason for being there, you must now give that limiting belief a loving escort out of your energetic system. And this is when you need to call on the energetic realm, the angels, the ascended masters. All of the energetic realm wants to help you achieve a state of love, joy, and peace. And once you achieve a state of love, joy, and peace, you then become a bridge so that the next person has an even easier time of creating that same love, joy, and peace in their life. So when you do this for yourself, you're helping not just yourself, but you're also making it easier for others who are coming after you. Once you can no longer feel the presence of worry, fear, or anxiety that has been crippling you previously, you must now bring in the energy of love, joy, and peace. Do not leave an empty space in place of pain. Fill it up immediately with love. Remember, nature abhors a vacuum. It will be filled up. In the beginning, your go-to reaction will be to fill it up with something else to worry about. That's what you've been doing for 20 plus years. It will seem more natural than reaching for that good feeling. So you've got to be proactive and fill that space up with love. Loving thoughts, loving actions, Be self-loving. Be proactive. Don't wait for someone to come over and do it for you. If you're waiting for someone else, you are giving them your power. You are in essence saying, you're not powerful, but they are. And that's going to leave you as a victim. You will then be responding to whatever they choose to send to you. If they're having a bad day and they're sending anger, it may not even be anything directed at you, but they may just be sending out anger because they're having a bad day. Well, if you're expecting them to change your vibration, you're going to receive that anger because you will be open to receiving their energy. So be proactive. Create your own loving energy. Love yourself first. Fill yourself. Connect with Source. Fill yourself up until you're overflowing, and then give freely of your overflow. Give freely of that love. You have within you everything you need to succeed. You also have the capacity to store past pain and trauma to protect you from previous pain. The choice is and always will be yours. You may choose to access the divine wisdom and prosper as your authentic self, or you may choose to hold fast to your limiting beliefs. Now, why would you do that? Well, they are the perfect excuse. They're the reason you're not expressing the gifts you've brought to share. As long as you're holding on to that pain, to those limiting beliefs, and to that disappointment, you always have the excuse to say, oh, I tried, but it was just too hard. I couldn't do it. So I don't really need to be my authentic self. I don't need to share my gift with the world. I'm just not good enough. I'm here to tell you, you are more than enough. And the world needs the gifts that you've brought. So commit to shining bright. Commit to getting into the heart and letting go of fear, worry, and anxiety. Remember, you're never forced to become all that you came to be. But when you do, your spirit will shine through you with the love, joy, and peace you seek. If you want this new year to be filled with an abundance of everything, of wonderful relationships, of free-flowing prosperity, of doing what you love to do, of having real freedom in your life, then you must commit now to letting go of worry, fear, and anxiety. You cannot serve two masters. You must choose which one is going to be the ruler of your life. And only you can choose. No one can choose for you. But no one is going to force you to make the choice. But understand, whatever you choose, there are consequences to that choice. If you choose worry, fear, and anxiety, you are going to find yourself stuck. All of your dreams are just going to fade away. You're going to enter into a period of depression. Things that you were so close to receiving are always going to be out of reach. However, if you commit right now to getting into the heart and clearing out those painful areas and installing love, joy, and peace, and you commit to thinking thoughts that are loving, joyful, and peaceful in nature, the entire world will open up to you. Remember, no one can do it for you. You're going to
have to make this choice on your own. But it's absolutely worth it for you to make this choice and to stand by it, no matter how much resistance you may receive during this time, during the process of change. So before I take questions, let's just review a little bit, because this sounds so simple. It sounds like, oh my gosh, this should be the easiest thing in the world. And it is, and it will become so for you if you commit and are persistent. In the beginning, it will feel a little overwhelming. I've been doing this for years. This is my work. To me, it is now simple. But I remember the beginning of my journey, and it was an uphill battle. So don't give up just because it feels like you're rolling the stone up the hill. Keep asking for assistance. Keep going back into the heart with your loving intention, and gently release everything that's holding you back. Remember, we were told to stop trying, which means we have to simply step into trust. We've got to believe that God is on our side, that we are powerful creators, that we came with absolutely everything we need in order to move forward in this life. Because when we're trying, what we're really doing is saying things like, well, I'm trying, but I just can't seem to do it. So I guess I'm just not cut out for this. I'm just going to give up. Or perhaps you're saying, well, I'm doing the best I can. No, you're not. What you're really doing is creating a back door, a way out in case you're not successful. If you were doing the best that you could, you would be succeeding, because that's your birthright. Remember, don't try, just do. Trust that you have everything that you require to succeed, and move forward as though you are already successful. Don't fall into the trap of, I believe I'm going to fail, so I want to prepare in advance for the disappointment that I'm sure is going to come. Prepare in advance for the success that you know is going to be there for you. When you stay in the I'm trying mode, it's half in and half out participation. And all it does is ensure that your conditioned response of the past will rule the day. You'll stop really fully participating. Instead, you'll sort of participate. When it's convenient, you'll think about putting your thoughts in a positive direction. But when it gets difficult, you'll deflect to your previous program, which is negative thinking, because you're only trying. You're not really doing, and you're certainly not trusting that you have the ability to accomplish what you want to accomplish. So go all in and refuse to quit. Don't quit. Keep going until you've won, or you've discovered a better way to approach your problem. It can be that you're going about it backward, but you're not going to find that out unless you go all in and you're fully committed to achieving. If you're fully committed, then you become open to new opportunities and to new ways to solve the problem. The most effective way to be fully committed to moving forward is to take a heart-centered look at why you've created this challenge. Remember, you're not going to move forward successfully when you're tied to that old programming. So you can say to yourself, oh, I think I'm just going to ignore this thing that is bothering me. I just won't look at it. And if I look at something else long enough, eventually it's going to fix itself. Well, maybe it will, but most likely you will have given up long before you've been able to turn that corner, because that old limiting belief that's still active in your energetic field will be more true to you than the new thing that you're trying to get a hold of. And it's going to keep pulling you back and pulling you back. So be proactive. Get into the heart. Locate the source of that pain. Lovingly engage with it. Find out what created it. Was it a past trauma? Just a limiting belief? Find that trigger. Be that detective. What does it mean to you? What is it trying to share with you? And then ask yourself, am I ready to let it go? Now, what happens if you come to a particularly entrenched traumatic place in your heart and you discover that you're not ready to let it go? You don't get in there with your club and try to beat the trauma out of yourself. Cover it with love. Tell yourself, I will return to this when I am stronger. I'm going to love this area in my heart right now. Then go and look for another area that is ready to go that you can release. When you're ready, come back to that heavy-duty trauma and see, well, gee, now I've experienced some success. I'm feeling a little stronger, a little more positive, a little more trusting. I think I can go back and look at this other area again. Just keep repeating that process until that deeply entrenched area of trauma that didn't want to let go before is ready to be removed. But let's remember to always be kind. A less aware version of yourself created this fear-based belief. So please don't come back and tell me, oh, I went to a major area of trauma and I just told myself, you are so stupid. What were you thinking? You were thinking what you knew at the time. Because you know better now, approach with love. Show compassion. Remember, you can only work on one wound at a time, one fear, one limiting belief, one negative mindset. Don't go in there and try to corral up everything and just say, okay, I'm going to do spring cleaning. Everything that has been part of my belief system up until now, it's time to go. One thing at a time. Fully understand why you created this particular place, this shrine, and then take a look at what it means to you and whether you're ready to let it go. Just one thing at a time. Always being compassionate. Remember, this is a journey. It's not a magic potion. So you're not going to wake up tomorrow if you are successful in clearing one area of your heart and say, oh my gosh, I am completely renewed and restored. My work is done. I just can move forward from here. Doesn't happen that way. It's a journey. This new way of thinking and being is going to seem odd and perhaps even strained for at least 21 days. So 21 days of intense practice of really loving that area that you let go, of falling in love with that area that has been cleared out. Calling yourself by your new name, your loving, joyful, peaceful name. Then you may want to feel strong enough to go in and find another area. Don't rush. Let it be in the time that feels right to you. We also need to remember that we're never going to be forced to ascend. Everyone will always maintain their free will. Your neighbor may ascend and you could stay right where you are. You don't have the opportunity to affect your neighbor's journey unless they give you permission, and your neighbor does not have the ability to affect your journey unless you give them permission. And I know it's very common for people to say, oh, I'm being attacked by negative entities, or someone put a curse on me, or blah, blah, blah. It's everything that's happening is outside of myself. I have no control. That's not true. Everything that is happening to you is coming from inside you and is generated by the thoughts that you are thinking. If you believe you can be cursed by another person, or if you believe another person is more powerful than you are, then that's your truth, and they will be able to impact your life in a negative way. However, if you say, I am the most powerful creator in my life, and no one and nothing has permission to affect me in a negative way, they will not be able to affect you. Please get a hold of how powerful you are. You can always choose to allow outside, that which is happening outside, to become what happens to you inside. Or you can choose to stay your powerful self and say, well, whatever happens is happening on the outside is just there, and I choose how it will affect me. Very, very important, and I want to reiterate this one more time. Always fill the wounded space with love once you have successfully released the pain. Bring in the Holy Spirit, fill that space. I also like to give that space a new name, because in my work, we will have gone and identified and named the pain point. So when we create a loving point, we also name that so that you're moving forward with something new that you're calling yourself, a new way of being. Please remember, though, most importantly, that you have the power to achieve the freedom you desire. But you have to choose it. And you have to persist with the choice and with the behavior that will make this so until you own it. You cannot try and then give up. You just have to say, I'm going to do this. I'm going to trust that I am powerful. I am going to trust that I have a loving source, that I come from loving source, that source is part of me and I am part of source, and therefore I have everything I could possibly require. And if it hasn't worked out yet, keep going. You can ask yourself questions like, am I putting a roadblock in my way? Is there something I need to look at? Is this progress slower than I wanted it to be because I've still got some limiting beliefs going on. That may be true, or it could just be that it's not time yet. Perhaps you need to grow before you can fully step into this vision that you see for yourself. Or perhaps other people have to be gathered. However, here's something I want us to remember. If other people are part of your vision and they have decided that they don't want to grow, you're not going to be held back on their account. New people will come in to take their place, or you can find a way, you will be shown a way that you can do this on your own. So please don't allow the idea that other people need to come in to help you to be a reason to hold on to a limiting belief. You can move forward whether the entire world says, oh, no thanks, I just want to stay stuck where I am. That's not going to prevent you from moving forward. Yes, it's easier when you have other people, when you have support around you. But your life is not dependent on the cooperation of other people. We can achieve our dreams completely independently. Usually we don't, because it feels good for all of us to join together, and we are more powerful together. But please don't allow that limiting belief to stop you from reaching for something just because you can't find the people to do it with you. Okay, so we're on to a new year, almost. I am really excited about what 2018 is going to bring for all of us. This has been a pretty intense year. There has been a lot of growth, a lot of opening up, a lot of what appears to be incredibly traumatic and almost scary events. We're seeing drastic weather changes. We're seeing political upheavals. We're seeing people being violent toward each other. And in my country, we're seeing women come out and really find their voice and talk about what they've been exposed to in the workplace in terms of sexual misconduct. And it appears that it's all just chaos. But we have to go through this period of upheaval, this period of chaos where the dark underbelly gets exposed if we're going to move into and make that choice for love, joy, and peace. Basically, what's happening is we're going into the world heart and we're exposing those things that are not of the light. We're bringing them forward so that they can be cleared away. Now, unfortunately, as a world, we're not really acting as lovingly as I would like us to act. We're getting there. We're doing better, but there's still so much violence and so much hatred. So that's why each one of you that has a heart filled with love needs to really step up your efforts to be so loving toward yourself so that your love, as you're completely filled up, will spill out over into the world around you. If that's all that you are able to achieve, you will have given the world the greatest gift ever. So don't feel badly that, oh, I have this big dream and it feels so far off. And I don't think I'm giving anything to the world until I achieve that dream. If you are acting in a loving way, you're already giving more than most people ever will. So be that loving example. Be that wonderful heart. And inspire others to look for love and to find love in themselves and to express love. And that's the way we are going to bring the era of love into this new year. So we have just a few minutes left, and I'd like to hear and support you in any New Year's resolution that you would like to make. The one thing that we need to understand is when we have a group such as we are here together, a tribe or a community, whatever you want to call it, and you have a goal that you have set for yourself, you can share it within this community. I do want you to caution you not to share with everyone. Feel them out first. If you are dealing with a negative person, with a person who is very cynical or superior, and you say to them, oh, I have this dream that by the end of the year, I will have been successful in touching the hearts of 1 million people with my music or my writing or my singing or whatever it may be. And they look at you and they might say something like, you could never do that. They're not a person to entrust your dream with. Choose a safe and loving place and let those of us who believe in you and are wanting to support you to help you keep that dream alive, to help you fuel it, to give it more power. So please feel free. It's *2 to raise your hand. Please feel free to share your New Year's resolution with us or your goal for 2018, and then let us lovingly support you in reaching that goal. *2 if anyone has a New Year's resolution that they would like to share. Okay, no one's being brave at the moment, and that's okay. I'm going to share with you a story about my own journey from fear, worry, and anxiety to love, joy, and peace. And now we're going to go back to the beginning of this story. Oh my gosh, 30 years. So about 30 years ago, I was teaching elementary school. And this was the time when the minivan became the car of every married woman with children's dream. Every teacher in the school, or 90% of the teachers in the school, were female. And of that 90%, I would say probably 75% were married with children. And they all started buying minivans when the minivan came out. And we were going on a field trip. We're going somewhere. Field trips, we usually had to ride on the bus with the kids. Somehow, one of the teachers gave me a ride in her new minivan. And I got in, and she was raving about this minivan, how it was so wonderful, and it was just exactly what you wanted, and showing me all the features. And we're driving along, and all of a sudden, I become petrified. I decide that this car is not safe. And to this day, I have no idea where, excuse me, where I picked up this belief. Suddenly it was just there. And I tell you, I cannot figure out where it came from. But suddenly I decided, this isn't safe. It's going to tip over. I don't like this car. Well, I didn't say anything because she was loving her car, but I was just in a high state of anxiety during the entire time that we were driving. And she continued to rave about her car, and I kept saying, oh, isn't it lovely? I'm so glad you chose this car for yourself. Oh, isn't that great? And, oh, when are you going to buy one? Okay. So now she's caught me, and I'm starting to make excuses. oh, I don't think I'm going to replace my car just yet. And so fast forward a couple of years, I would say now it's been 10 years. And I've left teaching. I have more children. I'm driving a different car. I'm actually driving a small SUV. I did like the idea that the minivan allowed you to be high. I'm very small, so I like being high off the ground when I'm driving. But I just never got over that fear that I was going to tip over. So I've held on to this worry for 10 years. It's buried deep, and every time I see a minivan, it triggers, oh my gosh, that's an unsafe car. I never want to drive a minivan. I will never drive a minivan. I'm so glad I don't have to drive a minivan. And on and on and on. Well, of course, with this kind of thinking, I also have worry and anxiety in other areas of my life, and one of the other areas was feeling insecure about money. So because I was having money insecurities and was worried all the time about there not being enough money, of course I created a situation where there wasn't enough money. And my only solution was to take the car that I loved and trade it in and trade down for something else that would be less expensive. So I get to the dealership and say, okay, I got to trade my car in. What do you have available so that I can reclaim this money, I can pay off this debt that I've acquired? And, sorry, let me take a drink. I need to pay off this debt that I've acquired, and of course I still need a car to drive. The guy said, oh, no problem. We have 2 cars in your price range. And so he calls up wherever you call to find out what's on the lot. He said, oh, no, actually, one of the cars has already been sold, but we still have a car. It's a minivan. My heart dropped through the ground. I was absolutely destroyed. I couldn't believe that I had manifested my greatest fear. First, I had manifested debt. Then I had compounded that and manifested a minivan. 2 of my biggest fears, bonk, bonk, run, right after another, clunking me over the head. It took me 5 years of driving that minivan to finally begin to open up to the fact that I was a powerful creator. I had begun my spiritual search when I was 13. Started really getting excited in high school about all of the alternative sciences. The paranormal was what they called it then. Nobody was talking about spirituality. I thought it was just fun. But I thought it was all in the mind, had nothing to do with the heart. So I educated myself in psychology. And that cemented me even more fully in the limiting beliefs that I was already carrying forward. So all this time goes by where I let go of the paranormal and I say, oh, I've just got to get a real job and, come on, let's get your life together and let go of all that silly pseudo nonsense. You just delve here into the mind, into the psychology, and you'll get your life going on a great track and it will never veer off. So, finally, after 5 years of driving that minivan, I had had enough and I was willing to let go of all of these beliefs that had steered me in the completely wrong direction and I began my new study, my new venture into the spiritual. Not the psychology, but the spiritual. The understanding that it's not just the mind, but it's the relationship between the mind and the heart that is what's important. And after a good maybe 5-7 years of studying everything, taking every course, attending every seminar and every workshop I could get my hands on, I began to see real movement in my own life. And out of that grew this understanding and this system, this heart-based technique of going in there and clearing out the heart. I began to understand how important the heart was, how much we needed to honor the heart. And for the first time ever, I began to understand that the heart was behind the subconscious. Previously, I was sure that the mind was in total control, that you just had to deal with the mind and you really couldn't control your thoughts, but, you could try to put yourself in a better direction. But for the most part, the mind controlled you. You didn't control your mind. The mind controlled you. Thoughts came in and they were what they were, and you had to do your best to deal with them. But with this new revelation, I began to see that the mind was a tool, that the heart was in charge, and that if I could get in there and get rid of all of that wounding, I would be free to make better choices. And I would no longer be a slave to the fear, the worry, and the anxiety that had completely ruled my life up until that point. So the moral of this story is, don't let yourself drive a minivan. Actually, the moral of the story, I'm so sorry, is love yourself enough to clear the heart. And David, do you have a New Year's resolution or something that you want to share with us?
Yes, hi, Marcia. I didn't feel like interrupting you. You were telling such a beautiful story.
I just, to this day, can remember the feeling of when I drove that car up. I was like, oh, it's amazing.
Well, that's true. I think everyone has stories like that, and we pick them up and make those beliefs our own, and that's so weird because they might be somebody else's. So I would suggest we support each other in letting go of all limiting beliefs for next year.
Oh, absolutely. And anyone on this call, if there is any way that we can support you, I think actually we'll take the last couple of minutes of the call, not just yet, to offer a prayer or just a few minutes of silence where we send love to each other and we actively support whatever it is, whatever your goal may be. If you choose to share it with us, fine. If you don't, we're just going to send out a prayer of support for whatever goals you may have for this new year. David, is there anything that you want to share with us that is really on your heart to achieve this in this new year?
I think loving myself more, so I can share more love.
Yeah,
would be a good one, and
one that never goes out of style.
It's so true.
And one that we can never do enough. I have found that even when I feel like I'm really loving myself, I find, hey, I can go up another notch. I've just been unloving to myself in that instance. So that's something that we can't set it and forget it. We got to keep saying, hey, I just spoke to myself in a very unloving way. I need to, that's not, that's not a practice that I want to continue. Let me have a do-over moment on that one. So thank you for bringing that to our attention. Because even when I feel that I'm being the most self-loving, I will catch myself in a critical thought, and I have to say, oh, really? What are you thinking, girl? So thank you for that, David.
You're welcome.
Anything else that we can support you with?
Well, no, I think we need to do something for all of us.
Okay. Would you like to lead us in the prayer, David? Since it was your brilliant idea, would you like to lead us in a blessing for moving into this new year?
No, I'm a little scared to do that, so leave it up to you.
Okay. Let me just have a sip of water. I seem to be ending this year with a lovely virus that has been so pleasant. Okay. So let's all take a moment and close our eyes. And taking several heart breaths, and a heart breath is when you breathe in through the nose and allow the energy of that breath to go directly into that midbrain area so that you're activating the energetic center, the divine communication center. And then as that breath energizes the midbrain, I picture a rainbow, sort of like a chute, going down and connecting with my heart. So as I begin the exhale, I am sending this loving energy into the heart and helping move out any fear, anxiety, or worry. It feels almost as though you are breathing through the heart, just sending loving energy first to your divine connection point and then down into and out of the heart. Now let's place our attention on the energetic heart center. And just imagine that there is a ball of golden light there. This is your divine source, that which is divine within you. And gently feed love to this ball of light and allow it to begin expanding outward in every direction until you are completely enclosed in this golden ball of light. You are now divinely protected and shielded. And from this perfect place of shielding, go back into that center point and begin sharing the energy of love that's pouring forth from your heart center. First, share that love with your physical body. Allow that love to go to every part of your body. This love is intelligent. It has a wisdom all its own. So allow it to go to whatever part of your body may be in need of physical restoration at this time. When you feel that your body, your physical body, is completely filled with love, continue allowing this love to be pouring forth from you. And this is not your love, this is your divine love. You've been connected to divine source. So you are being fed this love from your divine connection. So allow this divine love to extend out into your auric field so that your entire energetic body is now fed from divine source. That every part of you is now being loved in the energetic field. When you feel that your energetic body is completely filled to overflowing, extend that love out as far as your energetic field can go, to the very reaches of your energetic field, the furthest out it can go. Just allow your signature to be love. You may find that you have a positive effect on your neighbors or on your coworkers or whomever. But it's lovely to extend your love out as far as it can possibly go so that you can reach as many people as possible with divine love. Now that you're completely filled to overflowing, I want you to create a circle of white light right in front of your energetic heart center. Using that energy of love, create a circle of white light and call yourself to the circle. Using your third eye, look into the circle and you'll see yourself there. And in front of you is either a movie screen or a blackboard or an easel. If you're an artist and you want to draw your dream, draw it. If you feel uncomfortable drawing, then simply allow it to be a movie. But however you want, create a vision of the perfect 2018 for you. A dream that you would love to achieve. When you have that dream fully formed, begin sending love to it from your energetic heart center and tell yourself, and this too is possible. This and so much more. I now claim this dream for myself and so much more. Everything I desire and even more. And just so we make sure that we are in line with our highest good, we add the final statement, I desire this or something better, whatever is in accordance with my highest good. So you put all of your energy and your focus and your love into that dream. And then you leave a door open for God to either bring that dream forward because that you were 100% correct in what you were visioning, or something better. We never want to limit God But our mind does need a focal point. So wrap your heart and your mind around this dream. Give it your energy. And now just imagine that we're all holding hands and energizing each other's dreams. And God, we ask that these dreams be made possible for us or something even better. Whatever is for our highest good. And we thank you, God. We thank you for bringing this to us now. Loving you, Mother, Father, God. So grateful that you are here with us, filling us and inspiring us, leading us, and loving us. Sending you all of our love. And now I send all of you all of my love and a beautiful, blessed, prosperous, fabulous 2018. So that's all for today. And we're going to start the new year on Wednesdays. So let me see what we're going to do. So the first Wednesday of this week, of the new year, will be the 3rd. And I think it might make sense for us to skip the 3rd and go to the 10th. Oh, no, they're saying no. Meet on the 3rd. Well, I have a client on the 3rd. How are they thinking I'm going to do this? Oh, my gracious. Okay, you know what, guys? We're going to skip the 3rd, and we're going to meet again on the 10th. However, I will do a blog post. We just won't have a call unless I will send you guys a message if I change my mind and can do that call on the 3rd, because they're really kind of pushing me to do it. So I might have to switch some people around. It would still be at 12, but just on Wednesday. And we'll be talking about the law of restoration. And I love this. I have a wonderful prayer that I want to share with you. And I can't wait to get their insight, our guide's insight on how to fully take advantage of this law. So right now it looks like we're meeting on the 10th, but they're really pushing for the 3rd. So let me see if I can rearrange my clients, and I will send everyone a message. And of course, you'll see the event in your email. For those of you who have not already signed up to be on my email list, Facebook and I keep having an antagonistic relationship, and I keep getting restricted. So your best hope of taking advantage of all of what's going on is to get on the email list. You'll get the daily inspiration. You'll be advised of these calls, and you'll know of everything else that I have going on. And I am planning on doing some new things in the new year. So sending much love to everyone. Happy New Year.